my camera. Cool. I'm gonna turn on my camera real quick. A little bit of introductions here. My name is Skylar. My pronouns are she, her. I understand there are people that aren't comfortable with that. It takes all kind of people in this world. It's whatever. So today, I'm going to be going over how to win a hackathon. My credentials actually just won one less than a month ago. It's called Hack the NU, I believe it was. It was a great experience. I learned a lot, and I feel like I would love to help you guys out. This will be covering, this is not going to be a how to program a proof of concept tutorial. This is going to be a how to win a hackathon with what you'll have tutorial. So I'm going to actually share my screen right now. Pull up my PowerPoint and get this thing started. If I can get that out of the way. I believe play was somewhere. With that, right? Oh, it would have been great if I had not spent so much time going over this and actually hit the play button before. Hey, Emily, how do you play a PowerPoint?
I think it might be covered by your menu bar.
Yeah, it's not. This should be fun.
Down below, on the bottom. I think it's down there.
Oh, probably. I gotta figure out how to move this Zoom thing then. I can, cool. Nope.
You can also hit like slideshow at the top, and I think there's like a view slide or something, replace slide.
Okay. Slideshow and play from start there. That's helpful. Okay, so this is going to be my presentation. I'm sure since it's a slideshow, it'll move automatically. Fingers crossed it doesn't. But yes, so we're going to start with some of the stuff that you're going to need to know. So, what is a hackathon? A hackathon is a speed designing event that sometimes incorporates programming in a proof of concept capacity. Why do most people host hackathons? Hackathons can be hosted for a variety of reasons. The hacker community could put one together to help students learn in a fun and competitive way. TigerHacks all the way. Businesses who need creative minds to solve problems host hackathons to find, to have fresh, bright, new ideas. And that was the one that I attended, and I'll go into a little bit more on that later. But for now, we'll go into the next one. Why should I attend a hackathon? Hackathons are great opportunities to network. Many recruiters go to hackathons to look for the best and brightest to bring onto their teams. You can build a project to add to your possibly empty GitHub. I know a lot of us, should be working more on this. You can you also go to force yourself outside of your comfort zone and to learn new skills, because it will, while you're designing these things, you will need to learn. It'll force you out of your comfort zone. It's a great way to do that. You can get an idea of what programming in teams is like, which is really helpful for anything you're going to do, career-wise in the future. And you're going to get exposed to diversity. There was, I worked with people that were in Africa, at least from the Zoom ones now. My team had somebody in Africa, we had somebody in Switzerland, and the rest were from Canada, and I was the only person from the United States. It was super cool, but the kind of conglomeration of ideas that came together was really amazing. So, do I need to know how to program to win a hackathon? No, and no. It depends on the hackathon. I'm going to say this. I believe that Towson Hacks does grade heavily on proof of concept. And so that is something where you will need programming. But since this is a general overview on all hackathons, many do not require programming skills. So the one that I won, we did not program one line of code. We came up with ideas, what languages to use to implement certain features is kind of a very basic proof of concept, but to prove that it could work with certain languages and certain technologies, but we never actually wrote one line of code. So you do not need to know how to program, and it's not a requirement. So go out there and do it. What do I need to know to win a hackathon? some knowledge of design. And this does not mean like, architecture, but I mean, like, even if you can draw, something that, looks halfway decent, you're good. If you can use Google Docs, you're great. If you can use PowerPoint, sometimes maybe that's all you'll need if you have a really, really good and brilliant idea. But the purpose of a hackathon, and we'll get into this next, at least most, and this is not going to be, specifically for Towson hacks, but the purpose of hackathons is to, certainly when companies host them, they want you to design something that their programmers can program. They're not paying you to create an app that's going to hit the shelves right then and there. They're not hosting this thing to get that. They're hosting this thing to get, to solve problems, to have other ideas brought in that might solve their problems. So you might need some POC design, depending on the hackathon. And now we're going to go into, you will need intent-based. We're going to talk about intent-based leadership and working, and that's something that's part of Industry 4.0. If you want, you can look that up on your spare time. It's a big topic that has very little to do with hackathons, but good for life in general. Synergy, obviously, because you can't have teamwork without it. Confidence is key. Nothing is off limits. And one thing I want to get clear, you might look at this and say, oh, I'm not trying to start a small business. I'm trying to program and win a hackathon. Well, think of your team as a small business, and you're going up, your small business is in competition with everybody else's. The same principles that apply to starting something new in, say, a business venture apply to a hackathon here. So go on to the next one. So basic PowerPoint knowledge is going to be pretty helpful. We and my team used Google Docs, and I will share my team's project at the end, the one where I won the hackathon for. Google Docs knowledge is good. You don't need to, no design type is off limits. We had artists. We had one person that was an art major who did the hackathon. And she was like, oh yeah, well, I can draw this. And we didn't end up actually using it, but we had like ideas that we were going to like scan in and use for part of the presentation. So POC means proof of concept. Proof of concept is just a proof of a concept. That's all it is. You will probably not need a proof of concept for most hackathons unless told otherwise. Towson University Hackathon will judge based on proof of concept. Or unless your hack design seems impossible to implement with the technology you have, then you may have to prove that your concept works. A lot of people, choose to do a proof of concept anyway, just for like kudos, extra credit, and it's good practice. So by all means, if you have the time, if you want to give it a shot, put all your energy into that. It's a fun thing to do. Proof of concept doesn't need to be ready to hit a market by the end of the hackathon. A basic skeleton that shows that what you were trying to do, what you were trying to accomplish, and that your idea is possible should be good. Unless you want to go the extra mile, then you could get kudos for that. That's always nice. So here's something a little bit about intent-based working in leadership. Intent-based leadership is a concept that has to do with Industry 4.0. It wouldn't let me put the number 4. Like it was just giving me like a weird symbol when I was trying to write it. So I put 4.0, but it's just the number 4.0. If you don't know what that is, you can look it up. Intent-based working means reading minds. Don't try to, so what it means basically is to figure out, with most industries, you're handed, say, a grading rubric or something similar. This is what I want you to accomplish. Don't look at the rubric. I mean, look at the rubric, definitely, but don't work based on checking boxes off of the rubric so much as work based on figuring out what the person who designed the rubric wants to see. That is how you will get ahead. So while everybody else is checking off boxes, you're gonna go to the person who designed this. You're gonna get into the person who designed this head, and you're going to blow their minds. You're going to say, wow. They're gonna look at it and they're gonna say, wow, how did he know that this is what was happening? This is what I was thinking, that I wanted. So that's just something to keep in mind. Don't ignore the rubric, definitely, but certainly don't confine yourselves to its boxes. Have fun and branch out. So synergy, the interaction or cooperation of more if I can talk right today, of 2 or more organizations, substances, or other agents to produce a combined effect greater than the sum of their separate effects. So everyone has strengths and weaknesses. Have each member contribute with their strengths first. And with synergy, this should happen automatically. Synergy happens when you and your team are not just acquaintances, you're friends. You are all there to win this hackathon. You're all there to learn and to grow and to build your resume and to have fun. So definitely, be open, honest, and honorable. Say I attended one hackathon, and I heard people saying, "Oh, you could vote for yourself," and they were, "Oh, let's just vote for myself." And I was thinking, well, that's kind of like what mindset does that create? That's like, if you're doing that, then you're going to not feel the need to put in extra work on your project. You must not be confident in what you've done. So just be honorable and have fun with it. If you're not open to and trusting with your team, then your team won't be open and trusting with you. And a bunch of great ideas will never come to fruition because they're not going to be said. If you think you're going to be made fun of or somebody else will, you're not going to bring it up and ideas will die. Go out of your way to genuinely learn about each other. The more everyone cares, the more motivation everyone will have to be successful. It's easy getting the energy and inspiration to win if you care for and feel cared for by the members of your team. Now, this is like common sense 101. I'm sure you guys have heard this a zillion times, but so few people actually implement this. So few people go above and beyond. You'll get the standard, but very, very few people go above and beyond. And if you really want to reap all of the rewards that a genuine, business relationship, project relationship has, then you need to put in the work. The more genuine everyone is, the more you will learn, the better your project will be, the more you will inspire others, and the more you will be inspired to grow. If you see somebody who has just accomplished an amazing feat and they're happy and they're charismatic and they're joyful about what they've done, it's probably, that's like that's like what came first, the chicken or the egg. So you'll inspire people if you do that. And if you see other people, genuine people, you'll be inspired. It's just the way things work. Confidence is key. This is something that is very, very helpful. Present with a purpose. I heard so many people and saw a lot of people, and I'm not going to, and I don't judge. I mean, but if you want to win, when they would present, they would be, terribly nervous. It's nobody's fault, but they'd be very, very, very nervous, and they would mumble it. And the judges, whether they're there to judge the code or the your project and not you, you're the one who's presenting the project, and you want to make sure that your project, that you shine your project, you make your project show in a good light. Practice your presentation. Go over it in a mirror before you present. You may find flaws that need fixing. So this is something that I did. You will spend so much time designing and trying to do everything you can to create the perfect hack, the perfect solution to this problem, that maybe you'll get so detailed in one thing that you won't realize that this part of your hack makes no sense compared to this part of your hack. And so you'll just need to tweak things here and there for your project to make sense. So definitely go over your presentation in the mirror, because there's a good chance you're going to find some flaws if you run through it as in a presentation. So make sure you do that before you actually present. And of course, speak, don't mumble. Goes a long way. Nothing is off limits. Be fearless. Be open to new things. Do not be scared to bring a new idea to the table or to add something to your project. The judges may love it. I'm going to give a personal example. There's a member of my team that really, really was dead set on using this technology called, was it Fletcher? No, it wasn't Fletcher. Dart. It was Dart. Dart was a language, and it was something that links, having a brain fart right now, but it was something that links, makes it easier to program and just kind of move the program from Android to iOS and back. It was, you can make it very could move it pretty quickly. And I was a downer in that. I kept saying, you know, like, no, they don't want us to like build a whole thing. They don't want us to design a whole thing with this specific language. And I kept looking at the language and saying, what we're designing, this language makes no sense for it. But then when the interview finally came around, when we were doing our presentation, I had been a butthole a little bit and had been like, oh, don't bring it up. It's just going to make them think that you're overly specific. And they were like, oh, so how do you envision this being implemented? And I was just like, you know what? I was stupid. And immediately he took it away, you know, and he went into detail about all this technology he was doing research on. And it made us shine in so much of a better light. So don't be afraid to have extra things in your arsenal. I mean, I'm not going to say to put everything in the actual project, but don't be afraid to keep other ideas in the back of your mind that you can pull out whenever you need to. Think outside the box. Do not confine your minds to the guidelines of the rubric. Explore as many things as you need to create the best hack you can. So the one I did, and we'll get into it in a little bit, we had to design a user interface for firemen that would be using augmented reality vision goggles to enter fires. And the commander would be able to view everyone's video feed from his commander base. And we had to design the user interface that the commander would use. We really, we got very creative. We pretty much, 90% was a brainstorming session. There's a quote by, I want to say it was Abraham Lincoln. If I have 5 hours to chop down a tree, I'll spend 4 sharpening the axe. That's what you got to do here. Make sure that you have as much as you can, as perfect as you can, and then put it on paper. So we were calling fire station after fire station and asking different firefighters, what are the biggest threats you face? Because we were trying to figure out, we're designing this user interface. Do we want the colonel or the captain to be able to see where things are the hottest, where the floor is the weakest, where the walls are the weakest, where his troops are? Like what do we need to keep in mind? And we eventually came out that the biggest thing was low visibility, and so he would need to have a location, the location of his firefighters, and video feeds paramount. So definitely think outside the box. Nothing is off limits, and just brainstorm and have fun and do what you need to do to get it done. And obviously, the end is have fun. So that has pretty much been my presentation. Next steps. So what I would do before the hackathon, if you really want to win, look up winning hackathon hacks. So if you go on YouTube, look up hackathons, they're going to have a slideshow, a spreadsheet. They're going to be like, look at our winners this year. Look them over. Get some ideas. Ask your nerdy friends for more advice. Please. That's what we're here for, guys. That is absolutely what we're here for. You know, I like nothing more than to feel like the expert in something. So if I can, you know, I go for it. Get in the right headspace before starting, you know. So before I started, I was under the impression that I would be doing an extremely large amount of programming. So I was literally binging like Java tutorials. I was like, I need to focus on one language. Java seems to be able to work with everything. So I was getting Udemy. I was reading books. I was like, I will have this language down to the point where I can do something halfway decent with it by the time this hackathon comes around. And we ended up programming not one line of code. But it helped get me into the headspace doing that stuff. Even if I never used it, it really helps get me into the headspace of you know, winning and stuff like that, you know. So definitely read books and articles about hacks, about programming languages, get into the culture, watch King of Random and/or Vsauce on YouTube. They have a lot of really cool stuff. Listen to the Hack-A-Day podcast. Now this isn't programming, but it's ideas and it's creative thinking, and it's fun, and it should inspire you a little bit. And finally, don't focus only on fun. Discipline yourself by teaching yourself the skill you may need for the hackathon. That's where I came in with the Java. It was very helpful, even if I never used it, as I said, to get myself into the right headspace. So that has pretty much been it, guys. This was never planned to be super long, but I wanted to make sure that I condensed, this workshop into something small and helped you guys out as much as I could. But for now, I will actually, I believe I'm going to show you my project before we end, and that'll be that. Yeah, it was a fail, so that's why that's there. But let me go back to my screen recording. Where is my, I'm going to not share my screen, or pause share, there we go. And I'm going to go to my email and pull up the link of my winning hackathon, and I will be right back. So this is, oh, what the hell? Okay. Ooh, okay, good news. Now I emailed it to here, so here's the link, and I'm gonna post this in the Discord, so you guys can look it over if you feel like you need to. This is obviously you're going to want to focus more on proof of concept for the Towson hackathon, because there will be more grading on that than in the one I attended. So this has just been a general overview. So I'm going to, is this, no, that's the Cyber Defense Club. So I'm gonna go back to Software Engineering Club, cool, and general. I'll post it in workshops. So it's in workshops now, if you want to look it over. I want to click it on my end, and I will see you in 2 seconds, as soon as I decide to turn on my screen share again. Oh, am I still sharing? Oh no, it's paused. Resume share. Okay, that's my email. If you ever want to message Sky2D2, there I am. There she is. So this was our project. This was Team Sky 7. I have my name on the team. I was so proud. I was like, ooh. Anyway, we had a group of really, really good people from all walks of life. Cool, I don't care. So this was the date that we won. This was a little kind of like just like a logo. You can't access it, but it was just like a little flicker to make it look cool. This was our smart screen recording, or the smart command. This was our design, user interface design for what the commander would see as his firefighters enter the building. And you don't need to look over all of this. I just wanted to give you guys an idea of what to implement, and really, really brainstorm, map out where everything will be. Map out as many small details as you can beforehand. Like I said, 4 hours sharpening your axe, 1 to chop down the tree. If you have 5 hours to do it, plan, brainstorm, and just make sure that you have as detailed as possible before you finally put it in. So this is free for you all to look over if you feel like you would like to look over. I don't think you can change it. I hope you can't. But if you can, please don't. I'm going to ask you guys to do that like on an honor basis. So, and I don't think you can actually. No. Ooh, maybe you can. Well, anyway, I'm going to ask you guys not to, because this is my baby here. Anyway, so that's been that, and I hope you guys have enjoyed what I've had to share so far. Does anybody have any questions before I sign off? All right, well, thank you all for coming then. I hope you learned something new. I hope you feel a little bit more prepared, a little bit more, ready for this hackathon. And I, wish you all good luck. So without further ado, I will see y'all later. If I ever, see y'all later.
Is it good to stop recording now?
Yeah, so what was that?
Is it good to stop recording now?
Oh, I think so, yeah.